Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. We're going to talk fashion tonight with Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is a really quite interesting individual in the fashion world. She runs something called Fgi, Fashion Group International, in the Toronto area. She's also a professor of fashion and arts at the business program at Humber College. She has been a director of corporate partnerships, I guess she is right now, with the Canadian Fashion Group. In addition, she has been previously the marketing brand manager, course instructor, marketing for fashion and entertainment at the Toronto Film School. And she's got some basketball in her background that we're going to have to ask her a little bit about. She's got 2 degrees from York University, 1 in education and 1 in mathematics. And so it's going to be interesting to find out how she went from mathematics to education to fashion, and basketball thrown in there in the middle. Anyway, Klaudia, how are you? Welcome to our show.
Thank you. And it's so good to be back. Thank you so much. I just saw on my Facebook feed that it's been almost a year since we did our last interview. So it's always so nice to be able to catch up. And
yeah, and when we did that live and in person because it was before COVID.
I know, what a year it's been. What a year it's been.
How has that year been for fashion in Toronto?
It's been really tough. I mean, it really hit the industry hard, as you can imagine, with all the retailers, closing down just with the government regulations. So it's been really tough. And a lot of our events are based on in-person events. So you can imagine now we've gone from being able to do incredible events to now everybody being in their homes. And we didn't know what was going to happen with COVID. We didn't know if it was a 2-month, 4-month, 6-month thing. And here we are a year later with the same type of restrictions. So it certainly has been challenging, but FGI has been fantastic with the programs and initiatives that we've created in order to help people.
Tell us a little about FGI. What is FGI?
So FGI is Fashion Group International Toronto. We are a global organization. We're in 7 different countries and 26 chapters in total. Our headquarters are in New York, and I head the Toronto chapter. And it's a professional organization for people in the fashion, beauty, lifestyle, interior design, film industry who just want to be able to connect with other people. The whole purpose of it is just to network with other professionals in the industry and really be able to collaborate and grow and learn new things.
I've been surprised how many people I've met sort of associated with fashion that talk about FGI and talk about you. So it appears that you've done a really, really good job of networking within the whole industry, and it's retailers, it's designers, it's manufacturer, it's everybody.
It really is. I mean, we are 250 strong, and it's amazing to see the group that we've got. We've got everyone from the fashion industry, designers, we've got models, we've got influencers, we've got people in film, we've got like such a huge range of professionals, we've got business owners. So it's really amazing because you see the opportunities of people being able to collaborate with one another and the outcome of these types of collaborations, and it's wonderful.
Now tell me a little bit, mathematics and education, and then what did you do in basketball and now fashion? Give me a little bit of a how did this all happen?
Yeah, you know what, my path is probably the most obscure path you've ever probably heard from. So I started in mathematics. I loved fashion when I was in high school. I was that girl that, matched the earrings with the headband, with the bracelets. Like, I was that girl. And I love fashion. But, at the time when you're talking so many years ago, without aging myself, like 20 years, the industry wasn't as lucrative and promising as it has been now. So, at the time, my parents, being very conservative, were like, just find something that you can fall back on that you have. So I loved mathematics. I was really strong in it, and I wanted to be a role model for other girls in the maths and sciences. So I decided to become a math teacher, and I taught math for about 2 years. I was doing supply teaching when I graduated. And then there was an opportunity that came up for the National Basketball Association. They were looking for a marketing coordinator. And I thought, well, this would be kind of interesting. So I took the job thinking it might last, 1 or 2 years just to kind of get my feet wet. And I ended up loving it. I stayed there for 9 years. I traveled all over the world, and it was all the teams. It wasn't just, the Toronto Raptors and Vancouver Grizzlies. It was every single NBA team. So it was amazing, like going to All-Stars and being able to just witness the growth of basketball here in Canada was tremendous. And of course, you can imagine when the Raptors won, the championship, how iconic of a moment that was for me, because I started with the NBA when Toronto started in 1995, in their inaugural year. So it was really exciting to watch.
You didn't get a ring?
I did not. I had left.
No.
But you know what I have actually, which is really cool? I actually have an original Raptors poster with all the original team members and a limited edition basketball with all the signed original players of the Toronto Raptors from 1995.
Cool. Okay. So how did you go from basketball to fashion?
So after I left the NBA, I actually ended up going into broadcasting, and I worked at City TV for a few years. And then from City TV, I ended up, there was a job opportunity working at Flair magazine. And I really wanted the job because I loved Flair and I thought it was a really great publication. So I applied for the job and I ended up getting it within a week. And that was where my love of fashion kicked in. So I worked at Flair for 7 years. And then once Flair went 100% digital, I just decided to freelance and just really do what I'm passionate about, which is, helping others get into the fashion industry, supporting the fashion industry, and really being able to give back. So for the past 3 years, I've been doing marketing consulting for many brands. I've been doing public relations and really helping brands network and be able to collaborate with one another. So I kind of just be able to connect the dots for a lot of people who are just not sure where to even begin.
And you do all of that at the same time as you run Fashion Group International in Toronto and Canada, and you are a professor.
I do, yes. I teach marketing and public relations and fashion at various colleges, which I absolutely love.
At various colleges?
Yes, so I teach at Humber, I teach at Sheridan, I teach at Georgian College as well.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know where you find time for anything, but I guess that's why we've had such a challenge setting up this interview.
I know. Now you can understand, Brian. Now you can understand why it's taken so long. We've been working on this for like 4 months now. I know.
We're chatting tonight with Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo. I apologize, who is a fashion expert. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back more with Klaudia and talk a little bit about what's going on in fashion today. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour, Saga 960. We're talking tonight about fashion, and we have as our guest Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is the head of Fashion Group International, a fashion organization in Toronto here that networks with all the different people involved in the fashion business. She's got really quite a fascinating background. She's worked as a teacher of mathematics. She's worked for the NBA in marketing. She's been a fashion, public relations, communications consultant, professor, and now she's running this Fashion Group International. And I understand you've had a big article in a magazine recently. Tell us about that, Klaudia.
I did. I've been very fortunate, actually. I just actually have them here. So in Spencer Magazine, as you can see here, beautiful publication. And they did a wonderful feature on FGI with myself and some of the things that I've been working on, but also just my insights into the industry and how to brand in this new terrain of this pandemic that we're dealing with. And most recently in Forward Fashion Magazine, I've made the cover, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, so, and again, it's just, great publications really talking about what is happening with our industry right now, what do we see in the near future, and, how FGI is working towards supporting all of these small businesses to make sure that they grow and be able to develop during this difficult time.
And you say that the article was about branding in the fashion. Tell us what's your answer about branding?
Well, you know what? It's all about networking. I'll be honest with you. I mean, at the core of it is take the opportunity right now to network with people within the community, whether you do it through our organization or other organizations. This is the critical time. I always say, if you're going to reach out to anyone, this is the time to do it because everybody's in a pandemic. We are all home and our schedules are a little bit more flexible that we're able to connect with one another. So whether you reach out to even someone like yourself, Brian, and say, Brian, I'd love 15 minutes of your time, or if we can do a quick virtual coffee, that's a great opportunity to make connections in the industry. So when we're trying to brand in a new terrain, it's really about thinking about collaborating, working with other brands that you may not normally be able to work with. Find a mentor who's going to help you with your branding to be able to give you some honest feedback, and then really being able to reposition yourself. If you take a look at a lot of the designer brands that have been out there, a lot of them worked on red carpet gowns and beautiful gala dresses and custom made orders, and now they've had to reposition their whole business to be able to do masks in order to survive. So it's really about thinking now on a greater scale in terms of how can I be able to expand more on my business in order to be able to meet the needs of the consumers.
How do you network in a virtual world?
You know what? It's as simple as going into someone's direct messages and DM on Instagram or through LinkedIn, or even just being a part of our organization. We do events every single month with the exception of July and August. So every single month we do an event where you can actually join. Like we just recently had one last Tuesday. We brought in 6 experts, which we called business leaders in fashion, and they talked about everything from e-commerce, from legal aspects. We had someone talking about marketing and branding. You know, we had someone being able to talk about strategies and tips. We had a small business owner talking about how he was able to grow during the pandemic. And, you know, that opportunity for everybody to be able to exchange information, exchange social media handles, think about ways that they can work together, whether it's an influencer working with a retailer, whether it's 2 retailers working together that may not have thought about an opportunity, but it's really giving people the opportunity to connect. So it was beautiful to see. We had over 50 people on a Zoom call, if you can imagine. You know, with Zoom fatigue last year, the fact that we had 50 people attend, which was phenomenal, but just to see the networking in the chats with people exchanging information and sharing their Instagram handles and their contact and emails was a beautiful thing, because that's what it's all about.
And what were some of the answers? You said you had someone speak about digitization. What was their answer? Just got to be online?
Well, you know what, definitely being able to go online. I think if anyone has learned anything this year, it's that don't rely on brick and mortar. There should always be some kind of online aspect to it. So Digital Main Street, which is one of the people that we had speaking, you know, Daryl was great because he talked about what Digital Main Street is, and it basically offers small business owners to be able to convert their business from a brick and mortar onto a digital. And they provide all those services for free. As well as they'll give you your domain for a year for free, and there's government grants up to $2,500 for you to apply to. So there's a great opportunity to be able to do that. And the other thing too is, you know, really being authentic to your brand. We had Rohit, who was, you know, marketing guru, who said, you know, you have to be authentic because people will be drawn to that. So do a storytelling, share, you know, things about your own genuine experience, but also be authentic and true to yourself and your brand, because that's what's going to speak volumes and going to be long-term. So it's being able to do that. And also, you know, when you're talking about branding, really take a look at your brand on its own and see what differentiates you amongst the others and focus on that differentiation. Because the thing is, as you can imagine, with the pandemic, everybody went virtual. So now how do you compete amongst all that clutter? It's really being able to take something that's going to make you stand out amongst the rest. So there were different tips and techniques to be able to do that.
Being authentic is a buzzword I hear from, you know, lifestyle coaches and everyone. What do you mean when you say be authentic as a brand?
It's really just being true to your values and core beliefs. And it's really being able to talk about what your brand stands for. So, you know, you see a lot of people and, you know, you can see something and right away know that it's not authentic. They're pretending to be something that they're not, or they're pretending to be bigger than they are. And you can see right through that. It's really being core to your values and beliefs, whether you are a sustainable brand, whether you are giving back to the community, whether you are a small business owner that stands behind the brand and creates all of the pieces by hand and the workmanship behind it. But being able to tell a story behind every single piece, I think, is so important. Or, you know, every single product that you have, I think, is really important. But also making sure, you know, we always talk about supporting Canadian businesses, really being able to focus on that and being able to support other Canadian brands. Because I think one of the things we learned, again, is that with this pandemic, this is the time to support Toronto fashion, Canadian fashion, and really wanting to be able to support one another on that. And the only way that you can do that is educating yourself. So educate yourself about the brand, educate yourself about the product that they're selling, and being able to support it by purchasing into it to help that business sustain long-term.
That's a wonderful, nice ideal, but is it possible? Can we actually support and small Canadian Toronto-based fashion brands? Can they survive in an era where we no longer have, you know, stores on Queen Street or Bloor Street or Yorkville or whatnot open, and we're buying online from Amazon and the big brands in the United States and Europe, et cetera?
There is, you know what, there's a lot of platforms that are able to do that. So Shop Local, which is something that initiative that was done through CAFA, which is Canadian Arts and Fashion Awards. So that has all Canadian brands on there if you want to be able to shop. They launched, I believe, right before the holiday season. So it's a great platform to be able to see a lot of Canadian brands. But also, you know, FGI has their own online retail called the Fgi Marketplace. And again, it's being able to support all the Canadian brands that are part of it. It was free. It was something that we launched back before the holiday season as well. And it really provides a platform for people to be able to showcase it. And the other thing too is, social media is wonderful, and then this is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. It's a great opportunity to be able to showcase your brands on there and being able to provide a link that goes straight to your retail store. So I think it's really important to be able to do that. But to answer your question, Brian, absolutely, I think it's possible to be able to support the brands, because I think now more than ever, we've all experienced what this pandemic has done to us personally. And I think it's really allowed us the opportunity to want to support a lot of the businesses out there, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be your local, mom and pop shop of a grocery store, or whether it's a retailer. I think this is the time now where we need to take a step back and go, okay, we don't need to buy from these online fast fashion. Let's focus on putting our money towards good quality local pieces that we're going to have for a long time and be able to support our own.
I agree. However, I've interviewed a bunch of different people, both in the fashion business as well as in the retail business, as well as in the small business sector. And so many of them, tried to stay open, struggled through the last 9 months, and are saddled with, huge amounts of debt that they otherwise wouldn't have had. What are they going to do? What should we do?
Yeah, and that's a tough thing. Like, listen, I know, I've seen it firsthand, and it's really difficult because with the whole provisions and the government regulations has made it really difficult, because you can't plan or predict what's going to happen over the next couple of months. So stores may open for a month and then they shut down for 2 months, and then they open again and then they shut down. So that instability makes it extremely difficult to be able to do it. My advice is to really be able to network with other people to really help you sustain your business. So maybe you do a collaboration with a photographer or a videographer or an influencer and content creator who has a strong following. Maybe you take 2 brands and you guys do a collaboration with that. Being able to even collaborate with organizations such as CAFA or Fashion Group International to be able to do a showcase of some sort. I think there's always, like I said, you have to kind of look outside your business and think, okay, what can I do that's going to take me to the next level, that's going to help me survive over the next, little while. So a lot of businesses start to do the masks, which are wonderful, but now it's like, okay, now that most people have quite a number of masks, what's going to be the next thing that we're going to be able to create? And you have to start thinking in terms of that way. I think that's really important. But honestly, at the core of it is keep looking at government funding is really important. Unfortunately, our industry doesn't get the funding that, as much funding as we'd like. But, having said that, there's always opportunities to be able to make money, whether you're able to do it through government grants that are being offered, or like I said, like being able to do different types of collaborations, I think is really key.
Now, what about fashion itself? You're wearing, it would appear, a lot of beautiful jewelry. You're wearing a top, whether it's a dress or just a top, I don't know. But in this Zoom world, people aren't dressing up anymore, even though you are today.
You know what? I mean, for me, it's an excuse to dress up. I like to dress up. So, I'm wearing my little dress, my little off-shoulder dress, and I'm always got my jewels on. It's a little things. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's what I call easy fashion. And I think it's really important to be able to do that. You can't go to a Zoom meeting being in a hoodie because, again, you're still in business mode and you have to still come across as very professional. And there's an easy way of being able to do it without a lot of effort. So if you take a look, like I'll see if I can stand up here, but if you take a look at my dress, it's just a simple little black dress that I belted and a little off shoulder, very simple. Anybody can purchase. And then you just put some jewels on and then there you go. I've glammed it up on a very simple budget. But it's things like that. I think, right now,
many people are glamming it up for Zoom meetings or not?
Oh, Brian, you got to attend our FGI events. Everybody comes glammed up to the nines. I mean, it's amazing. I think people miss it. We all miss getting dressed up and going out to our events. And I think that's why this is an opportunity for people to do that. So, I think when you are in the fashion industry, it's all about personal expression. And I think when we have our events, it's an opportunity for people to get dressed up.
Completely understand. And you're in the fashion business. I'm not. I'm a business guy. I've got a closet filled with suits. Yeah. And I think I've had a suit only, on less than 6 times since a year ago.
And you don't necessarily need to wear a suit. I mean, that's the thing. I think now the protocol is that you don't have to be in a suit or in a blazer. I think we've now all accepted the business casual side of things with Zoom, because you're in the comfort of your home. Of course, you're going to be able to dress a little bit more casual. Having said that, I don't expect sweats, sweatshirts or hoodies or anything like that, but you can find some really great pieces that you can still wear that look professional, but don't break the bank and aren't too formal looking. And you're comfortable. You're able to sit, in your chair at your office for a number of hours and be on Zoom calls all day, but still be comfortable doing so. So I picked a couple of pieces that I thought were really cute, but it's really just being able to understand that nowadays people are looking for comfortability,
Yep.
versatility, but also being able to look professional. And like I said, you can go day to night. Like if I took this off, I would just be casual dress that I could do a Zoom call during the day. And then if I want to do a Zoom call for an event at night, I can put on my jewels and then it's a completely different look.
Now, I heard a rumor at one point in time that you had something like over 100 shoes, and they were all 4-inch heels and things like that. How do you wear those during pandemic?
So it's actually 400 shoes.
What?
It's 400 shoes. I have a room dedicated, a vault, a room that is completely dedicated to my shoes, which we will definitely do another segment on for sure. But yes, I have over 400 pairs of shoes. That is not including my boots or my sneakers. That is just high heels. I don't wear anything less than 5-inch heels because I don't like low heels at all. So my lowest heel is 5-inch until about 7-inch heels.
7-inch heels.
Yeah, they're comfortable. They're actually really comfortable because they put a platform by the toes, so it actually makes it very easy to walk in. But yeah, I love my shoes. I absolutely love my shoes. I'm definitely a shoe addict.
Okay, and do you wear them have you worn them in the last 9 months?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I go to the grocery store and I'm in my heels. I really am. I'm in my heels at the grocery store. If I need to run an errand at a retail, wherever, I'm in my heels. And even when I do my FGI events, although you see me from the waist up, I am showcasing my heels. So right now I've got a pair of heels on. But yeah, I'm always wearing my heels because it makes me feel good. I feel good. I feel confident. I love being able to wear my heels. So, just because people can't see from the waist down when I'm doing my Zoom calls, I'm always wearing my shoes.
So you think once the pandemic is over, high fashion is going to come back?
I think it'll come back in a much different way. I think, you're going to see more via film. I think film and fashion are going to be very, very closely correlated. We've worked with Roger Ginrich, which I know you've had on your show, talking fashion and film. And we're going to do another collaboration this year. But I think that's going to go hand in hand. You're going to see a lot of designer brands starting to go towards more of a virtual platform for sure. But I do believe that high fashion will come back because people are craving it. Brian, that's one of the things people look forward to. They love going to galas. They love going to, high events and going to fashion shows and being able to see things in person. So I do feel that there is going to be a comeback. I think there's definitely going to be more provisions in place in doing so. But I do believe it will have its comeback within probably a year or so.
If people want to join FGI, Fashion Group International, how do they do that?
So you go onto our website, it's fgitoronto.org, or you can go onto the New York website, which is fgi.org. And then once you go onto our website, so let's say you go onto fgitoronto.org, on the corner, it'll say become a member. You click that button. There's 3 types of levels. There's associate, which is 1 to 2 years in the industry. There is executive, which is 3 or more years. And then we even have a student. So students that are just graduating that want to get into the fashion industry can also sign up as a student membership. And the great thing is, once you become a member, you get an amazing swag bag worth $250 of product from our partners and sponsors, which is incredible. And you get a lot of benefits for free. So every month when we do an event, you don't have to pay for any of our events at all. Anything that we do is subsidized as a part of your membership. So it's a great little perk, and it's really cheap. We only charge $145 US a year. So it ends up being less than a Starbucks a month, I say.
We're chatting tonight with Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is head of Fashion Group International here in Toronto. We're going to take a break and come back afterwards. And actually, Claudia's going to tell us a little bit about spring fashions that she thinks are going to be in vogue this year, at least ones that she's going to be wearing. Stay with us. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're talking about fashion tonight on the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Second and 60, and our guest is Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is the head of Fashion Group International in Toronto. She's a fashion media, public relations, communications professor at, it seems like, a whole bunch of different colleges around Toronto. She's a consultant in fashion and communications and public relations. She's worked with the NBA. My God, and she's been a math teacher. How does that all fit together? It's strange. But Klaudia, you're going to give us a little bit of a review of fashion you think that's appropriate for what, spring and Zoom and pandemic?
I do. I'm going to walk you through a couple of really great pieces that I think would be great for spring, but also that you can use during your Zoom calls. So one of the things that have been my go-to have been one-piece jumpsuits. Okay, these are great because you're able to wear them. And this one in particular is an off shoulder. So just similar to like my dress, you're able to wear it as a boat neck. You can wear it as an off shoulder, or you can actually wear it just as a regular cowl neck type of jumpsuit. It's got amazing pockets at the front. And you can dress it up or dress it down. So that's a great thing about it. Now these come in great spring colors. So there's beige, there's pastel pinks and such. I'm a more neutral girl, so mine is more on the grays and navies. There is also a shorts version, which is great because we all love rompers, especially in the spring. So this would be great to be able to wear as well. And again, off shoulder, round neck, cowl neck, you can choose whichever way you want to wear it, but really versatile. You can put a really great statement belt if you want to be able to, or then just dress it up with some really great pieces.
And who's the designer?
So these ones are all from a Canadian retail store, and you can find them online. They're just on Queen Street, and this one also is with Rock and Karma. So if you go into Rock and Karma, Naomi has amazing pieces. She actually designs all of these herself, and you can see the beautiful jacket, and then it comes with a cute little skirt. If you take a look at the skirt.
That's a pretty short skirt.
It's really cute. It's mini. It's so cute. And you know what? It's so fun. This is like a fun little piece that you can wear. And Rock and Karma does amazing pieces. And they're also right downtown on Queen Street. And
what's that jacket and skirt made out of? Is it leather?
So it is denim. It is a denim mix. And then it's got a little bit of like a faux leather type of metallic design on the back. Yeah. And this is another one of her designs, which I absolutely love. Now this, if you can see, it's very Asian inspired with the dragon design. Now the beautiful thing about this is you can wear it like multiple ways. So I can wear it as a tube dress. I can wear it as a long skirt with the zipper on the side, or I can actually wear it with the zipper on the front. So it really is very versatile, and I can wear it as a dress, as a skirt, great for summer as well.
Wonderful. What are you watching now? What are we looking at now, Klaudia?
So this is a beautiful kimono that is 100% silk. It has got butterfly design motif all throughout it. And it's a very versatile type of kimono because you can actually wear it over pieces. You can wear it over a simple dress.
It looks like it's just white silk with very multicolored, what, butterflies or what?
Butterflies. So this is by Art of Marina. She's actually an artist who then became a designer by taking her art pieces that she hand painted herself and screening them onto these beautiful kimonos. So she's got butterflies, palm trees. There's a whole different designs on there. You can check it out on her website, Art of Marina. But it's beautiful because it's so silk and lightweight. It's perfect for the spring. And like I said, you could layer it over a simple dress, or if you're like myself, I actually wear it with a belt. So I will actually close the kimono and make it look like a dress and actually put a really great rhinestone belt or some type of sash on it and be able to wear it as a dress. So you can actually be able to take it from day to night and make it into a beautiful dress by just.
I thought a kimono was just sort of like a bathrobe.
Actually, it's not. Right now, it's so versatile to be used as an outdoor piece. Think about when, in the fall, winter time, we always wear those sweaters, right? The cardigans, open cardigans, and the long jackets, like the long sweater coats.
Yep.
This is a spring sweater coat.
Okay.
So just like the way that you'd wear a sweater coat in the winter, this is exactly the same thing for spring, summer. And the fact that it's silk and so lightweight, and the designs, like I said, the designs are so beautiful because they're all watercolor.
And did you say they're hand painted on?
They're hand painted. So what she does is she actually hand paints the design, and then she silk screens them onto this beautiful silk kimono.
And who's the designer?
So it's Art of Marina. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
you can find. And then other pieces that you can find, and this could be, you know, anywhere local. So Zara, Banana Republic. It really depends. Winners is also great. And these are just really great versatile pieces. So this is a dress that is just black. It's got a V-neck front. It's got a slit on the side, and just a really versatile dress that you can wear in the spring. And then you can just, again, add pieces of jewelry or put a nice big sash belt on it and be able to jazz it up and make it look like, you know, something to go from day to evening. And then also the other thing, you know, we talk about our casual onesies, you know, just like the way we lived in our onesies during the pandemic. This is a great piece to be able to wear in the spring. And it is silk. It is a jumper. It has a beautiful crisscross front. It's got pockets, which are great. So you can just be able to put things in your pockets or your hands in your pockets. And again, there's an opportunity for you to be able to belt it if you'd like. And then the nice thing is because the neckline is a V-neck, you can wear a really great statement necklace or a layered necklace piece and be able to jazz it up with a great pair of heels. So this is because it's a silk fabric, very lightweight, very comfortable, and very versatile. So I think.
Let me ask you a question. So some of the females I've been speaking about Zoom calls with have told me that they don't feel comfortable wearing you know, some of the last two that you've shown us that have got spaghetti straps or low necklines or things like that, because all of the attention is just on one part of your body. And so therefore they don't wear something that shows that much skin. What do you think about that from you know, what's appropriate to wear for Zoom calls?
Well, listen, you've got to be comfortable, and it really depends on what line of business that you're in, right? So, you know, if you're working for something for a company that's a little bit more on the conservative side, then you can just throw on a light blazer if you'd like, or even just, you know, one of the light casual, something like this, you know, like your kimonos type of covering, and be able to do that. So if they had a spaghetti strap type of tank top, this is a great piece to put overall. And this actually comes in different lengths, so you can actually wear it. There's a short version and there's also a long version. I happen to have the long version, which is why I wear it as a dress. But you know, throwing something like this on top was able to make it very versatile. And then the other thing too is that you can always put on like any type of, you know, shawl type of thing if you'd like as well. There's some really great shawls that are made that are very lightweight, that have some really great detail. So you have to base it on what you're comfortable with. I always say you have to make sure that you're comfortable first and foremost with your style.
What about color for Zoom? You know, you showed us a few black outfits that frankly I couldn't see the design that was on them, and you said one had got some sort of a mesh on the front. I couldn't even see that. Are there and yet the white silk kimono you showed stands out like crazy. So are there better designs? Sorry, better colors to wear for video?
Well, you know what, again, it comes to what your comfort, you know, your comfort is. If you are comfortable wearing dark colors, then go ahead and wear dark colors. What I would suggest is put a really nice statement piece necklace on there. So something that gives a bit of a bold color, whether it be a nice necklace, whether it be a scarf, something that just kind of gives it a bit of pop. The other thing too is that if you're going to go with it and you like color and you're open to it, go with bright colors. I mean, at the end of the day, we've all been through this pandemic. We really need to have a little bit of brightness in our lives. So I always say go with the bright colors, especially with spring around the corner. If you can get away with the pinks and the purples and the blues, and you know, those are the colors that you love in your wardrobe, by all means. Color is always best to be able to add in. I think it adds a little bit more to a Zoom call for sure. You know, I tend to be, if you look at my wardrobe, I think probably about 80% of it is black. But that's what I'm personally comfortable in. So what I do is I always put statement pieces, because to me that's really important. So that's what I usually do typically in order to be able to do that.
And statement pieces or accessories still make sense in a virtual Zoom world.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just as simple as putting together a little choker necklace or something layered like a layered chain necklace. Something so simple and takes it from one simple outfit and, you know, jazzes it up completely. Or being able to take a belt. So like, for example, the belt that I have here is just, you know, a little.
But no one's going to see a belt on a Zoom call.
Well, this is the thing though, like if you are, you know, sitting down, I can understand, but some of the Zoom calls that you see, people stand up and they show their dresses and they show their outfits. Again, this is in our fashion world, but it's a good opportunity just to be able to jazz it up a little bit. But if you have a great scarf, if you have a little like neck scarf, if you have a great statement piece necklace, I honestly, my go-tos are my necklaces. I feel that they just take an outfit to a whole different level. So if you see my drawer of necklaces, I have everything in pretty much every color, but it's really nice. It just
okay. If you've got 400 shoes, how many necklaces do you have?
a lot. Yeah, Brian, you don't want to know, a lot. But we've got some, and if you ever need really great jewelry, Rita Tessalin is incredible, and her pieces are absolutely stunning. And she does everything in every different color. She hand makes everything herself.
Rita Tessalin is here in Toronto?
She is. She's based in Toronto. She's right near Yorkdale Mall, and she's got a studio there, and she's just phenomenal and creates some amazing jewelry pieces.
What rules do you have in regards to hair and makeup for Zoom calls?
So, with Zoom calls, you know what? You don't have to go overboard. Just be your natural self. I think, I think when it comes to not putting a lot of effort in, just be your natural self. I mean, make sure that you, obviously, again, for professionalism, you want to make sure that you are groomed properly. So your hair is done, and if you wear makeup, being able to make sure at least you put on the minimal makeup that you normally would do in a regular work day. I honestly feel like whatever you would do going into work, you should do when you're doing your Zoom call. So if you don't wear sweats to work, then you shouldn't be wearing sweats to a Zoom call. If you put on a little bit of makeup for work, then I feel that you should do the same. And that's my personal opinion. I feel like it's really important to be able to be consistent. And I think even for yourself, when you are in four walls, all the time for months on end, it's always nice to put on that little bit of red lipstick, and it makes all the difference in the world. If you put on that great piece of jewelry, it makes all the difference. If I put on my heels versus me being, in socks, it's a lot different. I feel different. So I think it's really important just for your own mental health to be able to be consistent to what you would be doing if you were at work.
I spoke to your friend Roger. Is it Gingrich?
Yes.
And he runs something called Fashion Film, Canadian Film Fashion.
Yeah.
And he seems to think that the runways of the past are going to be challenged, and that a lot of fashion exhibition is going to go online through film. What do you think of that?
I do. I think a lot of it will. I mean, we're already starting to see it already. Versace is doing their show right now, and they're going to be doing it on a virtual platform. And I think people are starting to do that now. They're starting to accept the fact that this may be going on for a while, and people may not be comfortable being in person. So it really depends on the designer, but I do think you're going to get both. You're going to get ones that are going to do it in person with the restrictions and provisions in place with distancing and the masks. And then there's going to be other people who are going to look to film to be able to showcase it. But if you take a look at film and fashion, even before this pandemic, it's always been integrated. A lot of brands have been integrated in terms of being able to tell a story behind the brand. If you look at Chanel does stories behind their brands way before even when this pandemic hit. So I think it's a natural progression to be able to do that.
You mentioned a whole bunch of global brands. What about small Canadian fashion brands? Can they afford to make a film?
I don't know if they can afford to make a film because it does cost, but what they can do is, again, it's talking about collaborations. Like, Brian, I know I say that so much during this whole interview, but it really is the key. So for example, we've done things with Fashion Art Toronto, which is an amazing organization, and they did a recent virtual fashion show. So for a small designer who wants to get their brand out there and be able to showcase their collection but doesn't have a big budget, you can actually sign up with Fashion Arts Toronto. They take care of all the production, they take care of all the hair and makeup, everything that you need. And it's really a turnkey type of organization where they showcase designers, I think over a 3-day period. And they're at various locations in Toronto, and you can actually showcase your collection virtually through their platform. So they have a very strong following, and it's a great opportunity to be able to showcase your brand. So, being able to do things like that, I think are really important, but you have to seek them out as well.
We're talking about fashion, the future of fashion, both now in COVID-19 as well as once we come out of COVID-19, with the head of Fashion Group International in Toronto, Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's right. You got it.
Capalbo?
Yep, you got it.
We're going to take a break for some final messages and come back with some concluding comments in just a minute. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking fashion tonight with Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is the head of Fashion Group International Toronto. She's a professor in fashion, public relations, marketing, communications at a couple different local post-secondary institutions. She's a consultant, and she knows everything about fashion. I've got to ask you one question that just came to me. Roger, when we chatted, we talked about whether there's a future for the tie for men. What do you think?
A future for the tie?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because no one's wearing ties and hasn't worn a tie for the last 9 months. Do you think they'll come back?
Absolutely. Listen, that's just like saying, is there going to be gowns for women? Absolutely. Well, it's all going to come back. It's just a matter of time. I think right now we're just kind of getting used to our surroundings of being at home in our home offices and making the best of the situation. But I think once things start to go back to what we call the normal, or maybe the new normal, people are going to start wearing their ties again and wearing their suit jackets again. And you're going to start seeing people wearing their gowns again at galas. We're going to get there. This is just a bump in the road. And, I always say our industry and just everyone is just, we're all strong, we're resilient, and we're going to get through this.
You got a trends event coming up in March?
We do. So right now the date is being confirmed, but it should be either March 29th or the 30th. We are doing it in collaboration with Holtz, which is Whole Renfrew, which is our partner, and they're going to be showcasing the trends for the spring season. So we're super excited about that. And if you'll probably see it on Fashion Group International Toronto Instagram page, which is FGI Toronto, and you'll be able to also see it on Eventbrite probably in the next week.
And remind me, how does one join FGI?
So you go on to fgitoronto.org and you can sign up to be a member. Now you do have to go through an application process and be able to submit your resume. And then from that, it goes through New York, and then it comes to myself and my board of directors. And once you get approved, you become part of our FGI family.
And I think I saw you recently in a Lamborghini or outside of a Lamborghini. So you like nice cars as well.
I do. You got a good eye, Brian. Yes, I do. I do have quite a nice, yes, I do.
You have a collection of cars too. Oh no, I don't want to hear about that. We're chatting tonight with Klaudia Zinaty-Capalbo, who is the head of Fashion Group International, a association for networking within the fashion industry here in Toronto. She's got a lot of information about fashion. She's great to follow on Instagram and Facebook, and FGI is an organization that sounds like it's interesting to join. Klaudia, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about yourself and about FGI and about the trends for spring.
Thank you. And if you guys ever need to ask me any questions, you can find me on Instagram. It's Claudia's Fashion Fix, Klaudia with a K. And also you can check out my portfolio at The Styling Pro.
That's our show for tonight, everybody. I come to you every Monday through Friday at 9:60 a.m. or streamed online at saga960am.ca. Good night, everybody.